What if I told you that Psalm 23 is actually the key for you to live with peace right in the middle of chaos, to find strength in the very days you feel weakest, and to still hold on to hope, even when everything around you seems so dark and uncertain? You may have heard these words countless times, may have memorized them by heart, may have even spoken them aloud when your heart was trembling with fear. But now, with all the pressure weighing on your shoulders, with the future still so unclear, with your heart still fluttering in worry, do these familiar words still hold any real meaning for you? I do not want to simply repeat an old poem, or use a piece of scripture like a lucky charm that we mutter in panic only to quickly forget. I also do not wish to speak pretty words that merely soothe for a moment, without ever touching the deep pain quietly burning inside you. I only hope you will pause, give your heart enough stillness to truly listen, because this may be the moment you finally realize something you have never seen so clearly before, that there is a shepherd who has been watching your every step, who has stopped countless disasters you never even knew about, who has held your hand whenever you trembled, who stood there even when you wandered, waiting for you to turn and look into his eyes. Not all of us are willing to admit that there have been far too many nights when, though trying hard to be strong, our hearts still shivered at the thought of tomorrow. Not everyone has the courage to say out loud that there have been times of such confusion they honestly wondered, are you really there? Do you truly care? But perhaps you yourself have known exactly that feeling, when faith no longer stands proud, when joy cannot hold on for long, when something deep inside desperately longs for someone to firmly grasp your hand and say, do not be afraid, I am here. Sometimes, in the middle of all life's worries, we can no longer hear his voice, no longer remember that we were already being cared for, that there was already someone walking beside us, that we were never as alone as we thought. That is why today you need to stop, to look deeply and see what it is you are truly holding on to, where you are placing all your hope. What is your real guarantee when the storms come? Psalm 23 is not just 6 lovely lines to read when you are sad, nor is it some temporary spiritual painkiller. These are the words of a man who had failed, who had been betrayed, who had lived hiding in dark caves, yet still dared to stand and say, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. David did not write this while seated on a throne in some lavish palace. He wrote it from places where he had faced death, had slept under cold skies, had known what it meant to lose, to be terrified. And it was in those harsh places that he uncovered a secret most of us often miss, that assurance is not found in circumstances, not in what he possessed, but in the very one who walked with him. Today, if you can step into that depth, if you can let these words truly reach your heart, even touch the dark corners you have kept hidden, perhaps you will rediscover something you thought was lost all this time, a peace that cannot be shaken, a faith not bought off by circumstances, a hope that will not shatter no matter how fiercely the storm comes. And that is why we begin this journey, not to learn yet another passage of scripture to recite, but to actually meet the shepherd, the one who can make this weary heart come alive again. He is unlike anyone you have ever known. He is not some powerful ruler sitting on a lofty throne who makes you tremble every time you come near, nor is he a friend who easily forgets you when you fail. He is the one who created all things, who set the stars in their places, who calls each one by name, yet still knows every tiny beat of your heart. He is the one who commands the vast sea to stop at the shore, but also gently lifts your face out of shame and softly whispers, you are mine. You belong to me. He is so much greater than our limited understanding. His wisdom is bottomless. His plans stretch across all generations. Nothing surprises him. No event ever slips out of the control of his loving hands. He sees every misstep ahead of time, every fall, every tear you will shed, and still he chooses to love you, still patiently waits for you to turn back. This is the shepherd David spoke of by name. Not a distant God somewhere in the clouds, but a God who truly cares, who truly steps into your life. He does not look at you through the lens of success or failure, does not measure your worth by what you have gained or lost. He sees the real you, with all the mess inside, and still opens wide his arms. He does not merely watch from afar, does not just issue commands from heaven. He comes right down to where you stand. He knows every callous in your heart, every old wound you would rather no one see. He hears even the smallest complaints you whisper at night when you think no one is listening. He was there when you buried your face in shame, has witnessed the foolish choices you made that even you cannot forgive yourself for. And strangely, he still loves you just as completely as he did in the very beginning. He is not only the one who has the power to save, but the one who delights to save. He does not just lead you through green pastures. He is there even when you must walk through the darkest valley. When David said, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." He was not talking about a vague belief, nor was he trying to convince himself. He had truly experienced a God who was always by his side, always holding his hand, always whispering in his heart that he was never alone. That is the kind of certainty this world can never give you. Money can change, health can slip away, people can turn their backs at any moment. But this shepherd does not change. His love for you does not depend on what you have done for him. His patience does not hinge on whether you deserve it. When Jesus stood in the midst of the storm, he was not worried. He did not rush to find a way to control the waves. He could sleep peacefully on that rocking boat because he knew exactly who commands the seas. That is the same one who is holding your life, the one who can calm the wind and waves with a single word, but who can also keep you standing firm right in the middle of the storm so that when you look back, you know for certain you never walked through it alone. God never promised there would be no storms, but he promised never to leave you. Not for a single moment have you been abandoned. Not for a single day has he stopped watching over you. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is not even what he can do for you, but simply that he chose to be with you, chose to call you by name as one of his sheep, no matter how many times you have strayed. That is why Psalm 23 is never just an ancient poem, never merely graceful lines David wrote to sound beautiful, but a living testimony of a real relationship between a fragile sheep and the shepherd who never abandons it. David began with a declaration so personal, so full of trust. "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." He did not say, "The Lord is the shepherd of everyone," or of Israel in general. He said, "My shepherd." This was not borrowed faith, not belief inherited from parents or community, but a personal conviction forged through countless seasons of running for his life, countless nights curled up in caves, countless times he wept, until he could weep no more from fear and regret. In all those experiences, he saw God himself taking his hand and leading him through each day, each breath, until he could stand and boldly say, "Because he is my shepherd, I truly lack nothing I need." This is the very core of Psalm 23 that we so often overlook. The secret is not found in the green pastures or still waters, not in the table spread before enemies or in the overflowing cup. The secret is found in him, the shepherd, who is the only true guarantee for everything. David did not say, "I lack nothing," because his life was easy or because he had everything he ever wanted. He had to flee the palace, had to pretend madness to save his own life, had to sleep in the freezing wilderness, had to eat consecrated bread from priests just to survive. But it was precisely there, in places where he had nothing, that he realized when he had God, he truly did not lack anything he needed to stand, to breathe, to keep living and hoping. David continued, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters." This is not merely a poetic picture. Green pastures represent abundant care, while still waters are where sheep can drink without fear of drowning, without fear of rushing currents sweeping them away. Sheep are so weak, unable to find the best places to feed or protect themselves. David acknowledged his complete dependence on God. And you see, the shepherd did not lead him into a wilderness and abandon him. He led him to a safe place where he could lie down, breathe, and rest without keeping one eye open for danger. When David said, "He restores my soul, he guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake," he was opening up a deeper layer. To restore my soul is not simply to cheer up, but to heal at the root, to rebuild what had been broken. David knew all too well what it meant to have a soul exhausted by sin, by being hunted, by shames he dared not speak. But it was God who restored him inside, who set him on the straight path, not because David deserved it, but for his name's sake, for God's own reputation, glory, and promise. That is truly the good news, because if it depended on human merit, none of us could stand. But because his name never changes, we can rest secure. Then David entered the most frightening scene anyone dreads. "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." David did not say if, he said even though, meaning there would certainly come times he would walk through dark valleys, where death's shadow closed in, where everything seemed suspicious, cold, and lonely. Yet right there he still dared to declare he would not fear, not because he was brave, but for one reason alone, because God was with him. This is the climax of the secret in Psalm 23. It was not that David avoided the valleys, but that the one who walked with him was stronger than the darkness. His comfort did not come from everything going smoothly, but from the reality that God never left his side. David went on, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." This is an image of honor, of the welcome a king gives to a treasured guest, even while enemies look on helpless. The shepherd did not merely give David enough to eat. He honored him, placed him in a high position, anointed him with oil, poured out blessings so full his cup ran over. That is not a life of mere survival, but of abundance so rich it spills out to those around. Finally, David closed with a breath of deep trust. "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." He did not say hopefully, or maybe, but surely, an unshakable certainty. David knew life would still have swaying days, still have tear-soaked nights, but he also knew for sure that the one who had shepherded him this far would continue to pursue him with goodness and mercy, never leaving for a single day, until he was forever at peace in God's house. And that is the greatest focus, the deepest core Psalm 23 wants to imprint on you. Your safety is not in having no dark valleys, no enemies, no days when your heart is torn. Your true safety lies in having a shepherd who never leaves, never tires, never changes. When you grasp this secret, when you understand that the green pastures, still waters, table before enemies, and overflowing oil are all simply symbols of the shepherd's unchanging love, then every storm in life loses its power to choke your breath. You will be able to breathe deep, stand firm, and smile through tears, knowing one certain thing: He is there, and that is enough. As I read again the words David wrote, I realize just how far my heart has wandered. I have taken pride in being strong, in knowing how to rise after so many falls, but it turns out it was all just a thin shell, easily shattered by a crisis big enough. I once thought I could control my own life, that I could plan it out, steer it myself, and stay safe within the boundaries I had carefully mapped. But it did not take long for me to learn the painful lesson that I do not control anything at all. One unexpected message, one phone call with bad news, one strange pain, one door slammed shut without warning, that is all it takes to show me how small and helpless I really am. Lord, I have read Psalm 23 so many times without letting it truly pierce my heart. I have memorized every line, every word, have sung it, heard it preached, even used it to comfort others. Yet when I myself fell into a deep valley, those words faded like a distant echo. I confess before you, I panic so easily. I let fear lead me by the nose. I allow the whispers of people, their scrutinizing eyes, the dark possibilities of the future, press down on my chest until I cannot breathe. I have chased after my own pastures, run to waters I thought would quench my thirst, only to find they were muddy pits pulling me deeper into worry. I have clung to temporary things, to fleeting promises from people, to soothe myself that it would be okay, trying to quiet my heart without truly placing my trust in you. I have wanted to control every detail, to know exactly what tomorrow holds, so I could fear less, forgetting that I am not even wise enough to choose my own path. How many times I have made plans and begged you to bless what I had already decided, instead of asking where you wanted me to go. How many times I asked you to keep me in peace, when what I really meant was, please do not disturb my comfort zone. Do not lead me through places where I lose control. Now, as I listen to each word David uttered, I see clearly one thing. True security is not found in walking through beautiful places, nor in having enemies cleared from my path. The only real assurance is that you are with me. I could lose my job, lose someone I love, lose my health, even lose the sweet dreams I once cradled. But if I still have you beside me, I will not lose myself. I will not lack anything I truly need to keep standing. So Lord, today I do not come to ask you to remove all hardships, nor to plead that you redraw the road according to my desires. I only ask you for one thing. Stay close to me. Do not let me walk alone. I do not want a faith just to say I have it. I do not need a spiritual comfort ticket that leaves me panicking when the storm hits as if I had never believed. I need a real shepherd, need a real hand, need a real voice inside me each nightfall, so I will know for sure you are still there, no matter how dark it gets around me. Lord, I give you every area I am still afraid to lose. I place all my plans, dreams, career, love, and future into the hands of the one I trust. Never makes mistakes, never loses his way. Please use your rod and your staff to comfort, to guide, even to correct me if I start to lose heart or want to turn down another road. Because in the end, I want to know you more than anything. Want to walk close to you more than walk fast. To be near you more than to arrive early. To have you more than to have anything you could give me. And I believe, if I have you, I will not lack anything I truly need. Lord, I come before you not bringing any fancy words, hiding nothing anymore. I am tired of lying to myself that I am strong, weary of forcing myself to please others, only to curl up at night with fears that no one else knows. Today, I just want to come close to you with a heart that is honest and bare, to breathe out all the things I have held in my chest for too long and never dared to open up to anyone. You are my shepherd. I have heard it, read it, sung it more times than I can count. But many times my mouth has spoken it while my heart still doubted. I have often silently wondered if you really care about the small details of my life, if you truly see when I quietly cry behind the wheel in the middle of busy traffic, if you notice when my heart races from panic. Yet day by day, you still patiently remind me in such quiet ways, through a perfectly timed message, a verse that flashes through my mind, an old song that plays exactly when I need it. I know that is not by chance. I know that is the way the shepherd taps me gently with his staff to say he is still right behind me, still watching every trembling step I take. Today, I am not asking you to give me more miraculous signs to calm me. I am asking you for a heart soft enough to recognize that you are here. I do not want to believe in you just because I am afraid and need something to cling to. I want to believe in you, because you, because you are worthy, because even if I have nothing else, having you is everything. I need you to teach me how to breathe again. There are days my chest feels heavy, not from sickness, but because I worry too much, carrying on my shoulders things that have not even happened yet, holding in my heart the worst-case scenarios I have woven myself. I strain to hold on to the future, to the people I love, to work, to everything I thought was my safe foundation, until my hands bleed from clutching so long. Please, Lord, Open each of my fingers and teach me to let go. Let go not to fall, but so you can place your hand there, holding me even tighter. You made David able to say, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." I long to be that brave, but I do not want a fake kind of courage. Do not want to borrow someone else's faith. Do not want to use bold declarations just to lull myself to sleep. I want to know you so well that even if my feet walk down a dark road full of shadows, I still hear you calling my name. I want to hear the sound of your footsteps close by so I can know for sure I am not walking alone. Please place your courage inside my chest, in the very spot fear has lived for too long. Please calm the trembling that comes whenever I think of the future, whenever I look around and only see troubling signs, whenever my ears buzz from too much information, too many warnings. O Shepherd, you never promised there would be no dark valleys, no storms, no seasons when I would be dry and exhausted, but you promised to go with me, and that is enough for me. Remind me of this every day, so I do not look for safety outside and forget that you are the true safety inside. Remind me that green pastures and a table before my enemies are only small proofs of a far greater truth, that you, yourself, are the source of life, the reward, the place I belong. I ask you to anoint my head with new oil, not to make me stand out above anyone, but to heal old wounds, to renew my mind, to drive out all the lies of fear that once took root in me. Please let my cup truly overflow, not with wealth or praise, but because you yourself dwell within, so that when I walk through crowds, the scent of your breath lingers on my shoulders. Your gaze shines through all the noise around me, so that anyone who touches me might receive drops of the surplus grace you have poured over me. Lord, there is one thing I ask above all else. Please let your goodness and mercy truly pursue me all my life. Pursue me not because I deserve it, but because you promised. Pursue me to pull me back whenever I start to turn down another road. To lift me up when I am so tired I want to just lie down in the dark valley and never get up again. Please use your rod and your staff to correct me, even if it hurts, because I would rather be corrected by you than wander far away from you. At last, I give you my whole life, holding nothing back. I do not dare promise that I will always be strong, always faithful, always zealous. I know myself too well, how easily I change, how quickly I am drawn by other lights, how readily I sway with passing winds. But I believe you are the one who never changes, who keeps covenant to 1,000 generations. So today, I place my hand in yours, for you to hold tight, not letting me slip even when my heart grows weak. Please keep shepherding me. Lead me in paths of righteousness for your name's sake, and one day bring me home to your house whole and complete. That is where I belong. That is where my heart will finally find rest, without fearing anything ever again. And right now, right here, I say to you with all I have left, Lord my shepherd, if I have you, I will lack nothing. If you find yourself standing in that deep valley David once spoke of, walking through your own shadowed place, carrying silent burdens no one else fully understands, I invite you to do one small yet powerful thing. Pray along with this for 7 days straight. Not because 7 is some magical number, but because in the very scriptures, 7 is always the number of completion, of wholeness, the rhythm God used to create and finish his work, after which he rested, for everything was fully done. So give your heart a 7-day journey to pause and rest by the shepherd, to let him have the space to lay his hand on wounds you have kept hidden, to let him whisper into places where you have stopped hoping. Believe that as you faithfully bring your heart near to him day by day, moment by moment, by the 7th day God may sow into you a peace your mind cannot explain, a new strength, so you can sleep soundly in the storm like Jesus, sing loudly in prison like Paul, stand still when everything else shakes, because that is what Psalm 23 has always wanted to show us. The secret is not in the green pastures or the still waters, not in the table before enemies, or the overflowing oil. The secret is simply having Him with you. And if you have Him, you truly lack nothing. If this has touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it, because the secret of Psalm 23 is meant to be shared, and God will surely bless you for it. And do not forget to subscribe to Grace Daily Prayer, so that with each new day, we can once again sit together at the feet of the Shepherd. May the unfading love, unending mercy, and the peace that surpasses all understanding of Christ Jesus rest upon you, upon your family, and on every road you walk, today, tomorrow, and forevermore.